Morning folks, thought I'd give you a GZ Kitchen Garden, another tour and an update from middle of summer. So we're now in Feb 2011. I'll just give you the state of the garden nation really. Filmed of course, as always, in serial killer cam. I'll try and keep it steady for you. So we've got a golden delicious apple tree that's full of golden delicious apples. Last year we had a lot of little codling moth get into the apples and didn't have such a good yield. This year though, they're looking fantastic, and there's heaps of them and their size is good. We've had lots and lots of rain. Any greenery you see that's not in the middle of the garden beds is pretty unusual for this time of year out here in Kiwa. But I'll just give you a bit of a bumpy walk tour of what we've got going on. I mean, the first thing we've got going on, in fact, is we've built a little shade house structure here for our seedlings. Now this is based on a sorry about the shadow, just an old swing set. We've thrown some shade cloth over the top, and inside is where, after we've raised the seeds, you can see in there a little bit even with the sun, after we've raised the seeds, then they go in here we plant them out, and then this is where they kind of grow the next stage. From here, once they're maybe 10 centimeters high and got their second leaves and are kind of growing on, we've got a couple of zucchini in there and all sorts of things. I think we've got some we've got some brassicas now starting to come through, which will be ready to plant out in the garden for kind of the more colder season stuff. Looks like there's some tomatoes in there as well, which is getting late in the year for those, but there you go. Now, I'll just give you a quick tour of the beds. I won't get too specific, but these are our herbs. One of the things that we've done, we talk a lot about our basil use. So Wendy, my wife's been the main designer of all of this, and calculated that we need about 60 basil plants in order to give us what we need for the shop. So you can see just along the front here there's a dozen just in this bed, but scattered throughout all the beds are lots of basil. As I say, we use about 20 bunches, I guess, a week. And what we do with these is pretty much every day we'll just cut off the tops there and just give them a bit of a haircut, and then we take those into the shop, and then in good weather the plant pretty well is ready to pick again in certainly 3 or 4 days pretty much. It just reveals the underleaf and off they go. Lots of tomatoes, and having a mixed run of it with tomatoes this year. We've had a few little bugs, harlequin bugs, that are kind of get into the skin and make the skin a little bit hard, and we've had a little bit of disease in one little area. So it's all fun and games, but we've also got some green zebra tomatoes over there. I showed you those before, and they're doing really well. 2 varieties of basil, I should say. 2. God, this is going to be a quick tour. It's going to take forever. It's too much to talk about. Along the back there's some Thai basil, smaller leaf. You can see the purple flower there compared to the sweet basil at the front, the more traditional basil. Main difference is the Thai basil has quite a strong aniseed flavour. That flavour, the basil and the aniseed flavour, really persists in cooking. So it's, yes, it is used in Thai cooking. That's their basil of choice. But it's beautiful in any... We do lots of basil sauces at the shop, a chicken wine basil, tomato basil, all sorts of things. And it's fantastic in those cooked sauces, but it's crap for pesto. It goes brown. Just look, even thinking about blending it will make it discolour. And all that really nice fragrant flavour just doesn't persist in that blended kind of format. So the sweet basil is perfect for pesto, the Thai basil for the cooking. The sweet basil is great in cooking too, and it does in fact give I guess it's not a true sweetness, but certainly it makes the tomatoes appear sweeter. Well, that's my feeling anyway. The other thing we're doing with the tomatoes, apart from losing some to a fungal disease, which is not planned, I should say, we're experimenting with different methods of managing them. So I'll just show you a couple of examples. The first example here is pretty much just let them go. Yes, you have to stake them. This one's got 4 stakes, and then they're tied up. So we tie them up periodically. Let's see if you can see this here. Ugly hands, Paul. So we've just got this garden tie here, and we tie them up. It keeps them off the ground. It's a bit of a bramble. You've got to dive in to get the fruit. That's a green zebra, by the way. And that's the first method, and there's a few on this bed here. I don't know if you can see those properly. And they're done in that method. Let's swap across to the other side here. And the other concept is to prick out what they call the laterals. Tomatoes seem to have this really competitive, vigorous idea where every time it branches out with a side shoot, it produces a growth that wants to become the leader. And if you leave them unchecked, like the ones I just showed you, you end up with a whole heap of basically leaders going up. That's okay, but it does make for a fairly difficult to pick and manage bramble, as you've seen. Not so great for airflow, hard for picking, and one of the theories is that you want the plant to be able to, it's the same with the fruit tree, you want it to be able to put all its energy into producing good fruit. So what, I'll see if I can show you an example. Past the sage, I'll do the tour while I'm walking, how's that? Sage, and we've got some asparagus there. It's fat bastard asparagus. I just like saying that, and then I paused for some dramatic effect. Sorry, I'll just go to my right here, and we've got a corn bed, which is, corn's always so spectacular. And the corn has been, this year, has been fairly universally terrible. Sorry to say, it has. We planted 2 batches. One was from, well, the first lot of seeds that really didn't, we had very, very low, oh God. See, there's a go. This is what happens when you let a chef behind the camera, unless you get a whole heap of shadows in there. All right, so the corn, some investigation has shown us that we planted 2 different varieties. We had a poor strike rate with the first, as I mentioned. By planting the second variety meant that the promiscuous corn cross-pollinated, and that gave us a real maize-style, starchy, horrible corn. And that was because of cross-pollination. So, living and learning as we do, that was why.